guys, welcome to my massive May book haul. That's what I'm gonna call it. My massive May book haul. It was May, right? I can't check there. Yes, it was May. My massive May book haul. If you've seen my latest wrap-up video, with which I mean my April wrap-up video, then you'll know that I told you that I didn't buy any books at all in April, which is really good, for me. Because I always buy way too many books. And then on the 1st of May, I bought a shitload of books. And I'm gonna show them to you now. So it's kind of a slightly embarrassed book haul because there's a reason why I didn't want to buy books, wasn't allowed to buy books in April, that I didn't allow myself. Number one, money. I don't have it. Number two, space. I have even less of that. And number three, I have like 6 gazillion books I still have to read, so why do I keep buying new ones? But I actually read a lot of the books that I bought in this gigantic haul, and most of these that I'm gonna show you now are from one order that I placed on Amazon because I was actually buying a book for my... No wait, that was last time. I think I was allowed to buy like books for this medical procedure I went through. My parents still bribe me with stuff. No, because it was a little bit traumatic because of my panic attacks and everything, and anxiety, and they it's that procedure where they jam a needle in your throat to see if you have cancer there, which I most likely do not, which is really good news. And that's why we went shopping afterwards in Amsterdam, and I made a video about that, which you can see in Nora's world. I'm gonna link it at the end. Anyway, back to topic, and stop plugging my own channel. So yeah, basically my parents bribed me with books and I was allowed to buy 1 or 2 books, and then I saw this 3 for 10 deal and I bought way too many books for myself with my own money, which I don't have. I'm just gonna delve right into it. First one is Mary Poppins by P.L. Travers. I never really watched the Mary Poppins movie as a kid. I think I watched it once. I think maybe it wasn't easy to get here, or maybe my parents just never bought it. I don't know, but I think I only watched it once, so I only knew vaguely what it was about. And then, I mean, I knew it mostly from other people referencing it. And then I saw Saving Mr. Banks, and then in the movie theater, and then I watched Mary Poppins, and then a while back I watched Saving Mr. Banks again, and I watched Mary Poppins again. So I decided to buy the book, and I have to say I really, 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 really enjoy it. There are a lot of things in here that's not in the movie, which isn't that weird actually, but there were a lot of things that were so much fun to read about. It's such a book filled with so much fantasy and imagination, and I can't speak anymore, and most of you probably know what Mary Poppins is about, but in case you don't, it's about these, in the movie it's 2 kids, in the book it's 4 kids. These 2 kids, what are they called again? Oh yeah, Jane and Michael Banks, and their twin baby brother and sister, who need a new nanny, and then I want to say Nanny McPhee, that's horrible. I did know Nanny McPhee, which is total ripoff, but then Mary Poppins just came with the wind, literally, like she's here flying with her umbrella, and she knows magic, and she's lovely and kind of idle and self-absorbed and not always a really nice person, but a wonderful person nonetheless, and it has so much magic in it and fantasy, and this is one of those books that I'm gonna reread whenever I'm feeling a little bit down, so I really recommend it, and I can't wait to read the other books in the series, which I'm gonna buy once I have money, and so in 6 years or something. I also bought Ways to Live Forever by Sally Nichols. This is a book about a boy who knows that he's going to die, which doesn't sound that great. Actually, it sounds depressing as hell. And basically, he gets tutored at home. Not really real lessons, it's just more way to pass the time because he's gonna die anyway, which is really horrible. But he gets lessons from this lovely woman, and his friend is also there to get lessons at the same time, who is also dying, unfortunately. And he starts this journal and basically talks about what he did a couple of days and what he thinks about life and about dying and all these questions that he has that nobody will answer. And I don't know, I thought it was really a really sweet book. It was sad, but it was also sweet and nice and funny at times, and it was a book that gave you all the feels. And he also has this bucket list where you know, he writes things that he wants to do before he dies, and it's all things that he thinks he's never going to accomplish, but his friend says that he's got to try them anyway, because why wouldn't you? What has he got to lose, you know? So yeah, it says elegant, intelligent, and moving, and I agree. It was really well written, and I really recommend it. It's a really short book, so even if you don't like it, or if you think it's a little bit too sad, it's over really soon. But yeah, I really liked it. It was funny, and didn't beat around the bush. Is that how you say it? I think it is. About dying, and I really appreciate it. I really like this book, and I recommend it. I need to try to not talk too much about what all the books are about, because then my wrap-up will be really boring and short, which might not be that bad. I also bought The Age of Miracles by Karen Thompson Walker, which is an awesome name. This book I haven't read yet. It's about these two teenagers who find each other, I think on the day that the Earth starts to slow down, or at least soon after. The Earth is starting to slow down, and you know, you get all the consequences that comes with an Earth slowing down. Basically, end of days, people, and I think it's a love story, which I think is kind of nice. And unusual, so I can't wait to read this one. I also bought another young Sherlock Holmes book. It's called Stone Cold, and I think this is like the 6th or 7th book. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the 7th book in the series. I've only read the first book. If you've read this book, this series, let me know if you can read them in different orders, or if I should really read them from, you know, book 1 and then 2, 3, 4, and etc. Let me know, because I'm really excited to read this. Basically, I bought this because I still needed the book, and I want the entire series anyway, so why not buy it now when it's really cheap? But yeah, let me know. Oh, if the title didn't give it away, it's about Sherlock Holmes when he's young. The first book is actually before he's really Sherlock Holmes as we know him. He's a kid, and that's when he kind of gets his first case, as it were, which I thought was really interesting to read, and no idea what this one's about. Don't really want to read the back because I like to be surprised, but it's probably a case, someone's getting murdered or something like that, and he's gonna solve it. Next we have The Railway Children by E. Nesbit. I have never ever read a book by E. Nesbit, not that I'm aware of. I might have read a Dutch book, like a Dutch translation, once when I was a kid, but I don't remember. And a lot of people always talk about that you have to have read E. Nesbit, and oh, it was such great children's stories, and I have no idea if this one is any good, but they had it, and it's called It's called The Railway Children, and the back is really short. They were not railway children to begin with. Father has disappeared, and mother won't say where he's been taken or why. Can Roberta, Peter, and Phyllis get him back? So I'm guessing it's basically just a mystery, intrigue, action, maybe children's book, and I'm just excited to read it. And if you haven't get it by now, I like children's books. Then we've got Half Bad by Sally Green. Or is it Bad Half? Actually, I'm just gonna check here. Half Bad. Okay, I was right. Because here you have this, and this is the backside, which I really love this cover, but you could read it both ways, like Half Bad and Bad Half. But anyway, it doesn't say what it's about. Let me see if it's inside, because I actually did read what it was about on Amazon when I bought it, and I know I liked it, but I can't remember what it was about. Okay, it does say something in the back. I thought it was a little bit weird if a book didn't say anything, although you do have that sometimes. It says, "You can't read, can't write, but you'll heal fast, even for a witch. You get sick if you stay indoors after dark, which that's unfortunate. You hate white witches but love Annalise, who is one. You've been kept in a cage since you were 14. That sucks. All you've got to do is escape and find Mercury, the black witch who eats boys. Oh, that's all you've got to do. It's gonna be easy. And do that before your 17th birthday. Easy. Okay. That was sarcasm then. Sounds interesting, and I'm probably gonna read this really soon. Then we have The Seeker by Arwen Ellis Dayton. Oh, I love the name Arwen so much. Also a big Lord of the Rings fan, which you probably knew. I've heard a lot about this book. I've seen a lot of other booktubers who were reading it. I saw it on I saw it on Instagram, and I was intrigued, and it was there. It's about this girl called Quinn, and she has trained to be a seeker for ages, and she thinks she's going to help a lot of people by becoming a seeker, but then on the night that she has to swear her oath, she realizes what it means to be a true seeker, and it's probably not very good, and she can't run away now. So yeah, I don't know, it sounds interesting. The cover is beautiful, and it's supposed to be really good, so I can't wait to read this. Then we have House of Secrets, The Battle of the Beasts, with a really awesome cover. It's by Chris Columbus and Ned Vizzini. I read the first book last year, I think? Yeah, last year in summer. Wasn't as good as I had hoped it would be, but I might have had way too high standards. Not standards, expectations. Also because J.K. Rowling really recommends it, and apparently I'm one of those people who then automatically assumes it's really good. Not to say that it was bad. The first book is just called House of Secrets, I think. Yes. It was really good. It was just, I had set my expectations too high, and I realize now that if I probably read it now, I'll probably really, really like it. And I'm gonna read it again because I've kind of forgotten what it was all about. I know that they move into this house and then shit goes down. I think it belonged to this witch or something. I've completely forgotten, but it was really interesting. And I did actually like it, but just not as much as I had hoped. And this is part 2. So it's probably gonna take a little while before I read this again, because I have to reread the first part. But I'm still excited to read it, and I recommend the series. Then we have The Silkworm by Robert Galbraith? I think so. I have no idea. By Robert, who is, of course, Joe Rowling. And I did buy the first book because it was a book by J.K. Rowling. I don't read a lot of mystery, thrillers, what am I looking for? Kind of mystery detective novels. I don't read a lot of them, but I do want to read a lot of them, so I didn't find, I wasn't one of those people who found the book before, you know, everybody knew, but who cares? I really like the first book. It's about this kind of grumpy older, not old, but a bit older, detective who is going through a nasty divorce, and then this girl, she falls off a balcony, this really famous girl, and there's I think her brother-in-law or something, her family thinks that it wasn't suicide but she was murdered, and they hire him to find out if it was true. That's the first book, and I really like the first book, and this is the second, The Silkworm. So again, I'm not gonna read the cover because I like to be surprised. If I know that I'm gonna like a book anyway, then I like to not read the cover. Same as if I know that I gonna watch a movie, then I don't want to watch the trailer because they give way too much away in trailers. So yeah, excited to read this. I'm excited to read everything. Did you notice? Then again, why would I buy them if I wasn't excited to read them? Anyway, I also bought Here Comes the Sun. I'm in a beautiful mood today. I also bought I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson, and it's this really cool copy which has yellow pages, or this is yellow, and let me just get a random page. It has a lot of not really drawings, but like it was in someone's workshop and just got paint all over it. which I really like. It's about these twins. First of all, if you might have guessed, it's a lot about art. So if you're interested in art, in drawing or anything like that, I really recommend this book right away because it's a lot about that. So if you find that interesting, I really recommend it. But for anyone else, it's about these twins called Jude and Noah, and they're really, really close, but things aren't going that well at home. Their mom and dad aren't, working as well together as they were. They quarrel a lot, and they don't make each other laugh anymore, and they notice the kids. And then one day, the mother has the idea that both her children should go to this art academy, like this really prestige art academy in the neighborhood, and that's when things really go wrong because the boy, Noah, draws better than Jude, or at least the mother is so intrigued and interested and like totally absorbed by what Noah draws that she kind of ignores Jude and actually leaves her one time after a museum trip. That's how invisible she becomes. So that's kind of sucks. And it's all about how they grow apart and then what happens. And I don't want to give too much away. But basically it's from both their point of views, and it takes place around that time when they have to go to the want to go to the academy, and like 3 or 4 years later, it kind of switches between that, and you find out what happened, why Noah is suddenly a completely different person. I really like him in the beginning, by the way, because he's like this most imaginative person ever. Like the way he sees the world is really interesting. But he basically became normal, and the sister Jude was like really had a lot of friends, really happy girl, easygoing, and she's now drawn into herself, doesn't really have friends, and has anxiety about a lot of things. And Noah has become more normal and popular, so they kind of switch places a little bit, and you find out why that happened. And I thought it was a lot of mystery in it, and I liked how everything clicked together at the end, and I liked all the art stuff, and just I really, really, really recommend this book. It was really good. And again, I'm talking way too much about it. This should be in my wrap-up video. I'm sorry. I'm probably gonna make a really short wrap-up video and just reference this and just say you have to watch this. So yeah. Next book is Alex Rider Stormbreaker by Anthony Horowitz. I remember when the Alex Rider movie came out, and I kind of want to see it, but never did for some reason. And I've seen this book or the series a lot in the shops and never really read it, but kind of had it in the back of my mind, like I want to read this series one day, and now it's 3 for $10 as well. So I bought it and I read it and I really like it. It's basically about this boy who becomes a spy, sort of. That's all I'm gonna say. It's really good. Yeah, I recommend it. Okay, there are 2 books left, and that's just like the massive Amazon haul that I did. Then I have 3 more books that I got from my parents, and 3 more books that I bought myself. It's really bad, I know. One of the books is All I Know Now by Carrie Hope Fletcher, also known as It's Way Past My Bedtime. She has a YouTube channel if you didn't know. It says Wanderings and Reflections on Growing Up Gracefully. Basically, she talks about growing up and a lot of topics like bullying and making friends and falling in love and all kinds of topics, and then shares a lot of her personal anecdotes about it and a lot of funny stories about herself, and gives some advice from her point of view, like what she learned and wishes she knew when she was a teenager. She shares that, but even if you're not a teenager, it's really good. It was really fun to read, and yeah, I read it I think in like 1 or 2 days, and I made a separate video about this, which I will link at the end. Next is Geek Girl, All That Glitters by Holly Small, and it actually has glitter glasses. Can you see that? Yes you can. It glitters. And I wasn't sure if I was gonna buy this because the hardback was cheaper than the paperback copy, and I had them all in paperback. I still have them all in paperback. And then I would have one in hard copy, and I didn't really like that idea, but the paperback was like £2 or £3 more than this one. And the pound and the euro are really unfortunate right now, so the pound is really expensive and the euro is really expensive. Either way, I think, yeah, the pound is really expensive for us right now because everything is crazy expensive if you want to buy it now in the UK, which is great, not. So that's where I get all my books. But yeah, I decided on the hardcover because I've been trying to not let, you know, different sizes and different versions bother me that much. If I can, and if it doesn't cost too much, I will buy the same version, of course, but I've kind of gotten over that it's different. And yeah, I just thought it was stupid to spend more money for a less nice copy, because it is really nice that it's hardcover. And about the story, if you don't know this series, it's really funny. It's like this funny light read, hilarious read actually, about this girl who is not popular at all. She's bullied actually, which is kind of sad. She's a massive nerd. Her name is Harriet Manners. She's a massive nerd and probably needs to learn when to shut up like I do. Because sometimes she kind of, you know, how do you say it in English? Kind of gets carried away sometimes and overdoes things. But anyway, she's spotted and is asked if she wants to be a model, and she says yes because she wants to reinvent herself and become not necessarily popular, but liked at least. And this is the 4th book, and it was really good. Again, I really like the entire series, and if you want a fun light read, I recommend it. I also got The Nothing by Carrie Schaefer, which is part 3 of the Between series. It's signed and personalized, and I got this by helping her with Kickstarter, and my name is in there as one of the people who helps with Kickstarter, which is really awesome. And I can't wait to read this and finish the series. If you want to know more about this series, I'm just gonna say it has fantasy, humor, and dragons, and a penguin. If that's intriguing enough, head over to my other video. It's either already up, my previous video, or it's gonna be like my next or next after video. Not 100% sure yet. I think it's gonna be my previous video. I'm shooting this on the same day. I just shot the video. And I talk all about it, so yeah. I also bought a Dutch book with kind of a horrible cover. It's called Koning van Kotoren by Jan Terlouw. It means the King of Kotoren, which is a town, and it's basically about this boy who wants to be king. And to become king, he has to go through all these kind of tests or missions, or whatever you want to call them. Kind of like Hercules, he has to perform all these sort of miracle deeds, like they're impossible deeds, and if he like gets 7 or something, if he finishes them all, he gets to be the king. So that's what it's all about, and I read it when I was a kid and I absolutely loved it, and finally found a copy on a flea market. It's not the copy that I wanted, but I'm also a cheapskate. I didn't want to buy it in the stores. So I'm still gonna keep looking, because it's also a little bit damaged, for the pretty hardback cover that I wanted. And if I can't find it, I'm just gonna buy it online. But Dutch books are really expensive. And like I said, no money. On my shopping trip to Amsterdam, I also bought this book. William Blake Selected Poems. I really like William Blake. Unfortunately, it's not one of those that has the illustrations that he did, because I saw a few of those and they were beautiful. So one day I want like this really pretty hardcover version with the drawings that he did. But I really like his poems. I don't read a lot of poetry, but I do occasionally in a poetry mood, and yeah, I'm gonna slowly build like a tiny poetry collection that I can occasionally read. And if you don't know William Blake's poems, I do recommend them, because they're just nice. I really like them. Especially like the one about the chimney sweep. That's actually one that we discussed in school when I went to school in England, and that's when I first came into contact with William Blake and his poems, because we didn't really do poetry at our school, because English class in our school, like here in the Netherlands, was actually to also learn English, so wasn't a lot of time left for literature and stuff like that. But yeah, recommend it. I also finally got Cinder. It's by Marissa Mayer. It's from the Lunar Chronicles. I've heard so much about this series. I've seen it so many times in like everyone's videos. Every booktuber has it on their shelves and I never had it. And now I finally do. My parents gave it to me. I have the first book and I also have the second book, which was only £2 by the way. I'm not sure if it's still £2, but on Amazon.co.uk it was just £2. So yeah, I bought these. I've read this one, really loved it, and I'm gonna read this one really, really soon. Basically, it's a really different spin on the Cinderella story. Her name is Cinder, which is of course Cinderella, and she is a cyborg, which means that she has, you know, a lot of mechanical parts, like one of her... Of course, it stopped filming. Oh my god, I only have 4 minutes left of space. Okay, I'm gonna rush through this. She is a cyborg, which means that she doesn't have a lot of rights in this new world post World War IV. Post World War IV. 3. We haven't had 3 yet. Post World War III. Oh my gosh. I can't rush things. And there's also all these people who live on the moon. Apparently, I'm not quite sure if they were once human, but they can kind of mess with your mind. And one day the prince comes into her shop and asks her to fix droids for her. And at the same day, there's this new kind of plague, and one woman gets it at the market. And so yeah, it's a really fun book. It's a really interesting read. It has a lot of humor. It has a lot of fantasy, obviously. There's a lot of mystery and suspense, and I just really, really recommend it. If you haven't read it already, it's really good. And I also found it really interesting to see the parts that they kept of the Cinderella story and how they changed some of them. Like making her cyborg, because it's so different that at times you forget that it's sort of an adaptation of Cinderella's story, and then at times you're like, oh yeah, I see how they did that, and I just really like that. And then you have Scarlet, which is part 2, and I'm guessing about Little Red Riding Hood, which I haven't read yet, which I already told you. And now for the last book, while I still have time. It's Mistborn Book 1, The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. Brandon Sanderson. Nice name. I mean, it's very nice name. I really like this copy. I like the cover, the blue, and it's just, and the white and everything. I really like it. It's quite a thick book, and I started, as you can see. I have my pretty new bookmark. Galadriel. I hope that was in focus. Haven't read a lot of it yet, but basically it's about this world where there are Ska, which are basically like a lesser race. They're seen as a lesser race at least, and they're slaves. And then there are aristocrats and just normal folks. And most of the aristocrats are families. Some of them aren't even rich anymore, but it's all about the family line, about the blood. Because some people are have sort of almost magical powers. Like they have this alchemy kind of stuff. They ingest different kind of metals and then can use that for powers. But most people, if they even have this gift, they only have one of them. And the Mistborn people, that's what they're called, they have all of the gifts. I think there are 7 probably. And it's about this girl who's half Ska and half not, and she lives in the underworld, isn't really happy there, and has been using this power without realizing, probably just from the minerals that you get from, you know, drinking water and stuff like that. And she calls it her luck, and where I am is right when she figures out all about this. And that's all I'm gonna tell you about this book. I've also seen this a lot on other people's book channels, which is why I actually bought it, because it sounded really interesting. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. You're probably really sick of me talking right now, so I'm just gonna wrap it up. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you thought about the books, if you've read any of them, if you want to recommend books, stuff like that, down in the comments. And while you're busy anyway, I would love it if you would subscribe if you haven't already. It would make my day and would make it easier for you to follow my videos and to be notified when I get a new video. I have 1 second left. Goodbye!